Do you remember that one friend from your circle who suddenly started speaking English even if it was a bit broken or funny at first? Everyone used to tease him, but slowly he got better and now he is confidently preparing for the IELTS speaking. That guy actually cracked the code, and today I am going to help you crack it too. Hello Genius Art students, welcome back to the channel where we break down arts and the English language related topics in a simple and fun way. In this video, we are diving deep into IELTS speaking test, its pattern, what to expect in the test, and the smart strategies to prepare for it so you can walk into the exam room confidently. Let's be honest, most of us get scared when we have to speak English in front of a stranger, especially in an interview-like situation. But here is the good news. IELTS speaking is not an interview at all. Yeah, you heard it right. Because the IELTS examiner doesn't care about your qualifications and your background and doesn't judge you at all. He just wants to hear you speak naturally on everyday topics. That's it. The examiner gives you simple questions to test your English level and award bands fairly. So relax, it's more like a friendly conversation than a strict interview. The whole speaking test lasts only 11 to 14 minutes roughly as a short face-to-face conversation between you and the examiner. It's divided into three parts. Unlike a conventional interview, the examiner doesn't ask you to introduce yourself. Instead, he begins the test by asking simple, straightforward questions about your hometown, studies, work, hobbies, family, or future plans, and so on. You should answer with 2 to 4 sentences, not just yes or no, but also don't speak too long because you need to save energy for the next parts. Here, the examiner gives you a topic on a cue card and 1 minute to prepare notes, such as this one. Then you speak for 1 to 2 minutes continuously without interruption. Imagine someone patiently listening to you for 2 full minutes. It's actually a golden opportunity to express yourself openly. This is the longest and most interesting part. The examiner asks deeper questions related to your path to topic. You will give opinions, compare things, discuss advantages and disadvantages, and explain your ideas. This is where you can really show your speaking potential to the maximum. And that's it, your test ends. They assess 4 main things. Number 1 and most important is fluency and coherence. Fluency means your ability to speak with a flow effortlessly without using unnatural pauses within sentences, and coherence means organizing your ideas and thoughts in a logical way. Number 2, lexical resource. Lexical resource refers to using a wide range of vocabulary and natural expressions such as phrasal verbs and idioms the way native speakers use. Number 3, grammatical range. Grammatical range and accuracy refers to the use of correct grammar, tenses, and variety of sentence structures. Number 4 and the final is pronunciation. Is your English clear and easy to understand? Meaning how accurately you can pronounce words according to their standard pronunciation. Your speaking is tested on all of these criteria. If you can communicate your ideas clearly and confidently, you are on your way to high band score. Just like any other skill, speaking is a habit, not magic. So start small by making simple English sentences in your head every day, such as, "It's beautiful day today. I want to improve my English. I belong to Lahore and I dream of going abroad," and so on. Think in English and start talking about small things you see around you right now and small day-to-day actions and things you do. Then say them out loud to get your brain and tongue used to speaking English. Talk to yourself, talk to your mirror, or message your friends in English. Ask them small questions like, what are you doing today? Want to hang out? What's your favorite food? And so on. This will not only help you develop your speaking, but also makes you more confident when talking to someone. The more you practice daily, the more natural your tongue and brain will become. Once you get comfortable with basic speaking, move to full IELTS mock test. Practice real part 1, 2 and 3 questions. Do regular mock speaking tests with a friend, teacher or a partner. Study partner. Record yourself and listen back. In this way, you'll improve very fast. The more mock tests you give, the more confident you will feel on the real test day. I've shared some links for speaking topics where you can practice complete speaking mock test as well. If you just give answers with only yes or no, which are too short, you can't show your maximum ability to talk in English. Instead, you should demonstrate your skills in providing extended answers rather than just an outright yes or no or other similar one-word answers like absolutely or definitely and so on. Instead, always extend your answers with complete sentences and try to develop your responses as much as possible. At least speak more than the examiner. Next common mistake is going off topic. Some students begin adding more details than necessary, and instead of responding to the specific question, they go off topic. For example, if examiner asks you to talk about one thing that your hometown is famous for, but you start describing your hometown as a whole, the examiner will not point out your mistake or correct you. He simply cuts your score since he is testing you, not teaching. So always try to be specific and to the point. Next major issue is giving memorized answers. Remember that this is not a test of your knowledge and there is no single right answer. So never memorize set of responses because if you do so, it will sound false and unnatural. You need to sound natural all through the test. Therefore, do not learn chunks of answers. The examiner is trained to spot this and will simply cut your score. So, try to give your opinion by developing your answers as much as possible naturally. Another common mistake is using incorrect tenses. Incorrect tenses are often used by the candidates in the speaking test. You might be asked to talk about past situations. Therefore, you have to make sure you are using the right past forms of verbs. Your faulty sentence structures and tenses will never let you cross 6 bands in the grammar criterion. But these mistakes can be overcome by practicing at home, recording your answers onto your smartphone and listening again to correct them. It is imperative to speak English as much as often as you can while preparing for the IELTS test. Next major mistake is paying too much attention to grammar. Many IELTS students get obsessed with grammar, pronunciation and accent and they try to make the speaking perfect like native speakers. As a result, they can't communicate well and effectively. It's okay not to be perfect since it's not your native language and the examiner knows this very well. In fact, the examiner expects some mistakes from you. Therefore, do not worry about occasional mistakes. Instead, focus on the questions and respond accordingly to communicate well. There are a number of tips you can apply to have better performance in the IELTS speaking test. Use sentence starters and gap fillers. For opinions, use well. As far as I am concerned, from my point of view, in my opinion, personally, frankly speaking, as I see it, to be honest, according to my knowledge, and so on. There may be times during the speaking test when you may not understand what the examiner is saying because you are meeting them for the first time and it's in English. So, it's pretty normal that you might not understand some of their questions. In such cases, don't be afraid to ask the examiner to rephrase the question or repeat what they just said. For this purpose, you should use these expressions such as pardon please or only pardon. Sorry, I don't see what you mean. I'm sorry, would you mind saying that again? Sorry, I'm not quite sure what you mean. I beg your pardon. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Sorry, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Could you repeat the question, please? During your speaking test, you may have problems to understand a question. Perhaps the examiner may be using words or phrases that you don't know. If there is something you don't understand, always ask for clarification. This is a part of normal conversation and will show your ability to react appropriately in this sort of situation, instead of sitting blankly and saying nothing. In such scenarios, you can use any of the following expressions such as I wonder if you could explain. Could I ask you a little more about? I'm sorry, I don't quite understand what you mean by. I'm afraid I'm not quite clear about what you mean. Would you please explain it? I didn't quite follow what you were saying about. I'm sorry, but could you explain what you mean by? Sorry, I don't know what you mean by. Hopefully, these simple questions will get the interviewer back on track and you will also have impressed the interviewer with your conversation skills. The most important thing which will help you in your speaking test is to use English in your everyday conversations. Before the test, prepare the language you may use while thinking of ideas to express yourself by using these useful fillers, such as that's an interesting question. That's a difficult question. Well, I think, well, I guess, let me see. How shall I put it? Let me put it in this way. As a matter of fact, in fact, you know, actually, when you want to clarify your thoughts and straighten out everything you are thinking, use the following expressions, such as what I meant to say was, what I meant by, that's not quite what I meant. Let me put it another way. Well, the point I am trying to make is that to show that you agree with any opinion or point of view, use the phrases such as, yes, exactly. Yes, I agree. I agree entirely. I think so. I suppose so. That's what I want to say. That's just what I was thinking. I couldn't agree more. That's a good point. What to say when you disagree? To disagree is being human, and it's your right. But always calmly and politely express your disagreement by using expressions such as, I'm afraid I can't agree with you when you said, I agree with you to some extent, but I think practicing saying all these daily will make them part of your active vocabulary and make you natural in speaking. That's it for today's video. If this helped you understand IELTS speaking better, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Share this with your friends who are also preparing for IELTS. If you have any question, ask me in the comments. Best of luck for your exams. Keep practicing, keep learning and keep smiling. See you in the next video. Take care.